I just wanted to do this here. And so I just, it's my wish just to say something about, I guess this is a testimony. Recently I've got a 6-year-old female Rottweiler. Awesome dog. I have a disabled son, and super good, super good. I've been a dog owner all my life, and I have to, be careful. Like I usually have big male dogs, I don't know, I can chain to my hog. But anyways, I ended up with this female runt who's not so much a runt anymore, but she was born with rheumatoid arthritis. And so when I had her spaded, I was letting her have, go through her heats first before I went and spayed her, just so she could mature and stuff. And she snuck off and she got it, man, like 9 puppies. So it was crazy. It kind of screwed up her hips and stuff. So when I had her up at the vet's to get her spaded, the vet couldn't stop the bleeding, and did a test on her and said, well, hey, she goes, or they go, it was a wife and a husband place out here in the country, but they go, hey, we can't stop your dog's bleeding, and we did tests to see if she was anemic. She's not really anemic. And so Seven got, a few blood transfusions from their dog, and I guess dog to dog, I guess all blood's okay, right? So I was like, well, what the hell's going on? They figured out that she was allergic to like wheat and stuff like that, right? So okay, so I got this purebred Miss Priss, awesome kid though, really, really good. And then they informed me, and she was only 2 years old, and they informed me, oh yeah, she's got severe rheumatoid arthritis. How can she be arthritis? This is the first dog I've had. She's been in the house, and she doesn't even sleep outside or nothing anymore. So, so a few months ago, I guess it'd be about 2.5, 3 months ago, I noticed her, like, she would be crying in the morning, man, and not want to get up and walk and stuff. And so one morning she dragged herself out to the living room, and she was just in pain. I didn't know what to do, man. My heart was broken. I thought I was going to have to put her down. She couldn't get up. I couldn't move her. I did have some leftover medicine from Ma, from her dog, arthritic and that. And you know how clinical stuff is. Well, I had used it before, but it was very, very temporary. Very temporary. And the side effects comes with clinical stuff. So because there was warnings on it and all kinds of stuff, but so I gave her a half of one of those, and she started moving around a bit. And I had this CBD oil that a friend of the family gave us. Like I live in the Kootenays, man. That stuff is predominant out here. All that stuff is predominant. If you don't know about the BC Kootenays, you don't know about BC Bud, obviously. But so. A few years ago, so I got her mobile again, and then I just figured, hey, I didn't know how much to give her or anything else. I started giving her a drop in her food. Well, I had immediate results right away. So I ran it for 30 days, giving her a drop, then like 2 drops, not a half a drop or anything. And she came back to her old self. Like, I'm just amazed. Like, well, it saved her life. That's what this stuff did. So here's my own testimony. I was run over by a couple of cars on my way home from work once, and handlebars, head-on collision. These guys come racing around a corner, and handlebars went through my side and ripped out my guts, my liver, my lung, my spleen, a bunch of ribs, and I wasn't supposed to live. And they used a they used a hairnet. Once they pulled the splinters out of my liver and stuff, they used a hairnet to squeeze it back into shape and sew the chunks. You know, they told my mom I wasn't going to live. They told my old lady I wasn't going to live. Well, I fucking well lived, right? And so, you know, I'm like 30 years old. I'm at just at the beginning of the peak of my career too. I was doing quite well. And so, you know, 4.5 months in the hospital, and I come out, and I'll never forget it. There was a gas station store, shit, a block and a half from the house, and so I go walking down. I got to the end of the block, and I'm sitting in some guy's front yard with my 2 canes. Fuck, I couldn't make it. I was fucking bawling like a baby, man. You know, it was all my manhood. You know, my story was I chew bullets and shit nails, asshole. That was, you know, as we, you know, getting into it. And so all of a sudden you got this man, and I got, you know, kids at home in diapers and stuff, and so you know, it's funny, 9 months pretty much to the day of me getting out of that hospital, my youngest son was born on Father's Day. Now, if that isn't a testimony from, I just looked at my Creator and went, is there a meaning behind this, you know? And I took it as a promise to keep me alive until I raised my family. Yay! So a few years back when my youngest left the house, my old lady was gone. It was just me. I'm walking around the house, man. I didn't know what to do with myself. There was nobody to yell at. I'm serious. It was the strangest thing, you know. So I decided, hey, you know, I've been running you know, an aftermarket Harley shop all the years. I mean, when I went back in construction, my body kept falling apart, and you know, they put a screen in to hold my abdomen together and shit, and it was one of those defective fucking things, and so it all ripped, and then my intestines would get pinched in it, and emergency operations all the frickin' time. You know, it just started doing good. Next thing you know, you're back in the hospital. Next thing you know, you got 2 months before you can walk again. It was just on and on and on and on. So going back and just, you know, working on the Harleys and stuff was fine. Didn't pay a lot. I mean, I live in top 10 riding, like the highway system around here, top 10 of the world for touring on motorcycles. But, you know, it's a feast and famine. You're working from June to the beginning of September, you know. You know, but that's, you know, so all the time as you know, the kids are growing up, you know, so I'm doing this, but, you know, feast and famine. And at the same time, I like to ride myself. So once the family was growing up, well, I went back to into the construction, and part of it was, you know, I had court dates that I had to deal with at the biggest courthouse in North America on the 12th floor, and yes, I stood as a man the whole time. I went there and I fucking well manned up. I was totally courteous as I know how to be, and respectful. I made sure I wrote notices and letters to let everybody know what my wish was, who was there. I am not a legal person. You know, I have no legal person. I'm not competent to partake in a legal society. I am not competent I'm not a legal code decipherer, right? Now, but what I do have a right is to face my accuser and cross-examine my accuser. So maybe I'll tell you the whole story at the end of it, but I was looking at this, someone there who acts as a Crown prosecutor did wish to benefit I with 10 years in prison. And it wasn't my wish to benefit that kind of benefit. I still have a disabled son and a family to support. Now, if there's no victim, there's no crime. So anyways, to make a long story short, yeah, no, I'm here talking to you, all right? And so I'm out and I'm working, you know, I'm working in Alberta. I'm away from home. I did wish to get back into, construction, get back to making some coin again, and also to be close to the courthouse too, and to deal with the matter, right? And so one night, so I don't know, I hurt my knee. A big wind came up, right? I was just pulling down scaffolding off this house, and wind came down, and I hurt my knee and hurt my wrist, and I'm not getting younger, whatever. But as you do, is I went and reported it to the doctor because I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with WCB or WorkSafe or whatever they call it where you live, but so okay, it looks like soft tissue damage, and I didn't think it was more, but I always, and this is what I tell all young folks, something happens at work, you have to go and report it immediately. Do not think you're like in our day back in the 70s. Whatever, shake it off. Yes, we did that, but then these things come back to haunt you. And if for some reason that injury, does interfere with you to support your family in the future, you're fucked. Okay, you got no coverage. Now we all know that WCB or WorkSafe or whatever call it, it's a private corporation that is. That runs under the authority of the lieutenant governor of the province, okay? Because they are a private agency, a private corporation, but they act within the public. And the province makes it law that everybody has to be there so that the person cannot sue the company to give the company a wall so that you can't sue the company, and then companies won't wish to set up business. So it's kind of a, I believe it is a fairly decent program. I mean, shit, a company can't be sitting there going on lawsuits 24/7. Now, I myself wouldn't sue the company. I would sue the man or woman. Actually, I told this to WCB, and they screwed me around for 6 months. And I told and they said, well, you can't sue them. I'm not suing the company. I will sue, whatever the guy's name was, because I am supposed to have coverage and you're not covering me. So now I'm open for a suit. I had my coverage that afternoon. So, and of course I did this in written form, all right? Written form. So, okay, so I get back to my brother's place. We're playing with his motorcycle. We're having a beer or whatever. And I get this phone call at 10 at night. It's this doctor, this really hot woman doctor. And she goes, yeah, Al, yeah. Well, I just checked out your x-rays. You got a tumor in your leg. Sorry about your luck. Click. I'm like, what? Whoa. Whoa. So okay, so I had a friend that could have got me an MRI over in Alberta within 2 weeks, but I just wished to come home, and took a year to get an MRI in medical within British Columbia. So we were here. Okay, it turned out benign, but that was 2 years ago, and I've been waiting to talk to a surgeon, get more tests, whatever, since kind of thing. And my doctor that knows me is retired now, so it's just a zoo. It's just a freaking zoo. So what am I going on? I'm going on about my dog, I'm going on about me, and going on about this fucking tumor. Well, I'm going to put this up in the link, but I decided, I heard stuff about CBD oil, and cancer and stuff. So I saw the miracle with my dog. I can't believe the miracle with my dog. And the reason I get this CBD oil is because I know the folks that make it. And they have all their technical charts. But I know these people and trust these people. And these are people of high moral standing. Not just some corporation, blah, 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 selling you used, what is it, PCB oils out of a transformer in China and putting it in your flavored tobacco, fucking whatever they call that thing that kids are sucking on now. So yeah, so I started doing it. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm still waiting to get in to get more tests, X-ray or whatever. So uh, I've been doing it for the same amount of time as my dog now, and I've upped the dose. But this morning I come across a man who was given 3 months or something to live. He didn't feel bad or anything, but yeah, he had a tumor size of, his fist in his lung, and it was I think it was a small blood cancer, but it went throughout his whole body. So he had a friend that was a vet, which made me think of my dog and the CBD oil that I'm giving her. But apparently they did studies on this deworming powder and found out it worked on killing cancer. So he does a conglomeration of the CBD oil, and he does the deworming powder, and I think vitamin E. And he only does a deworming powder 3 days a week, and pretty much zero harmful effects on people. So I just wish to, just wish to mention it to folks for a couple of reasons. One, some folks have, hey, what do you know about fucking dealing with court? Hey, buddy, I know a lot about dealing with court. I've had my fair share. Number two, my dog. I didn't want to say nothing about my girl there but yeah, no, it's just a miracle. And I wasn't even giving her, I still don't give her like a half a vial of the stuff. I give her I'm giving her more liberal now, like 2, 3, 4 drops, but when I first started, it was just one because I wasn't sure, and I just wished to experiment and see what happened. And now she's a normal 6-year-old dog. Instead of crippled up. Oh, the poor kid was in pain, man. Like it was heartbreaking. And yeah, so I can't wait to see what's going on with me. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in the link with this guy, his testimony over this stuff, and then. Yeah, I'm going on the regiment myself, like ASAP. Fuck this socialized healthcare. It takes fucking forever. And it's like there is no good run healthcare. You go private, yeah, it's all to make money. You go socialized, yeah, it's budget, an excuse for what do we tax now? Here, like fuck, 50 some odd percent, like or more, 60%. Canadians are just taxed to the tits, and everybody seems and we're just going in debt and debt and debt. Like, these public servants are totally out of hand. But I guess, hey, put the country in debt so we're all in want. Take mobility away so no one can travel unless you can afford it, unless you are of the elite or the establishment. Make sure that everyone is disarmed, so that you don't have to worry about the general population. Maybe taking back their government, maybe taking back their country. I don't know. I don't think that's ever happened on this land up here. And let's start taxing, because we're not taxing enough and wasting enough money. Let's start taxing the air we breathe. Not that it's going to do anything. And let's bring in mass immigration so we can just flood the streets with people and put more people in want. And folks that are not from here, right, that come here and find out, oh, hey, there's a social system here. Well, I'm not saying that all people do. It's just, okay, now we're just like fucking top heavy. The whole thing's going to tip. But I wanted to get out my testimony. I am going to start doing this. I know that tumor did enlarge because we can see it, and it is in my leg. So if it goes cancerous, it is leukemia. And I'm always run down, so I think my body is always fighting it and shit. I am going to do this regiment, and I am booked in sometime to get something. So, and apparently, the man that testified to this, he says it takes like 8 weeks or so to get her rocking. So I'm gonna get this rocking. I've already been doing the CBD oil with my dog. we'll see the rest of it, and I'll keep you informed. But yeah, you can see it. But yeah, if anybody needs any of that CBD oil for their dog, man, just email me. I'll get it to you.